And good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good to be here. It feels like I haven't been here in forever because I haven't been. What were we doing last Monday? Why was I not here, Rob? Where was I? I was in the golf tournament. For charity. Rob said it was for charity, so it was okay. And then last Monday, I think, was Labor Day weekend, right? So I've been playing hooky. I've been bad. I haven't been here in it feels like 3 months. But good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome. And we got a great lineup today. I have Steve McCarthy. He's actually on his cell phone. So, Steve, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody, excited to be here.
And I'll give you a little introduction on Steve. Steve McCarthy is a mega superstar agent up in Yuba City, Marysville, about an hour north of Sacramento, maybe 45 minutes, kind of a farm town. Steve, what do you got? You got a lot of peach orchards up there and a lot of rice and, well, it's kind of a farming community, would you say, Marysville, Yuba City?
Yes, sir. A lot of orchards, a lot of peaches, like you said, walnuts, cow tipping's a sport here. Got a stoplight, which is exciting.
Cow tipping. Now you see what I mean? Now that's the real deal, man. Oh, man. In Sacramento, we do runners, man. You grab a 12-pack of beer and you run out the door as fast as you can. That's as close as we get to cow tipping. But just kidding. Everybody calm down. So, Steve McCarthy. Steve, how long have you been in real estate now?
I've been in 8 years.
8 years. And how many homes did you sell your first year?
The first year, just about none. But I got really good at contracts.
Okay, how about the second year? Did you figure it out?
Second year, I got was my first year with the coach, and we did 30 some odd transactions. So big difference for us.
So that's an interesting thing I like to point out. You did none the first year and 30 the second year. Do you attribute it all to the coach?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I needed someone to teach me how to go out and get business instead of at first I was told, here's how you do contracts. If you just come in and do floor time, business is going to be pouring in and you're going to take off. Not true.
So you did floor time. The true part was you got good at the contracts, studied the contract, but without clients, what good is contract knowledge?
That's right? It. It's worth nothing.
It's worth a whole lot of nothing, like the U.S. government. All right, the IRS, they just cost us money. It's like the IRS. If I can ask, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Who was your coach? Was it Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, Keller Williams?
Nope.
Who was it?
Nope, I went straight to the best. I went to Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and my first coach was Albie Stasic. So I had the whole pool of all three of those. And if I had done more than 10% of what they told me to, I would have probably done 300 homes, but I'm very lazy.
Lazy, busy, or too busy cow tipping. So if you know Steve McCarthy, and I love him, he wears jeans, some kind of like we'll call them cow patty kicker boots, and that was a nice way of saying the other thing. Cow patty kicking boots. And a ball cap. He looks like he's going to ride a bull usually. He's kind of got that country boy look. He's got his ball cap with the real curve, not the flat one that looks like he's flashing gang signs in LA, but he's got the curved ball cap. He just looks like he'd be riding on a John Deere tractor. So you sold 30 homes your second year. How'd you do your third year? I honestly don't know any of this. I'm learning as we go.
Yeah, no, we just about doubled every year since. So, and this year, we're going to blow past 100. Last month was our best month ever, which was 16 closings last month. So it was just that steady. They taught me what to do consistently. Once we added some consistent activities that weren't floor time, then we were able to really, build out our business.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. And can you guys type in the chat box? Can you hear what Steve is saying clearly? Just type. Is it staticky? Is it coming through loud and clear? Everybody think it's good? Okay, where are my glasses? Lost my glasses. I'm left them in the other office. It's okay. Oh, I'm getting a pair coming. All right, good. I'm getting some yeses. Good, Steve. So you're going to do well over 100 sales this year. You closed 16 deals last month. So
Yes,
before
sir.
we do, because this is all about, building a sales organization, developing your rep share, and acquiring stock. This isn't about sales. We have lots of training on that. I know last Wednesday there were 16 classes in the cloud in one day. By the way, if you're not taking cloud classes, look around and take them. They're great. Make sure you do that. But before we transition to recruiting agents, because you've also done well at that, sales is sales is sales is sales. There's a rhythm and a tempo, and you figure it out for homes and you figure it out for agents. So what advice do you have for everyone if they do need to sell some homes while they're building the rep share? What if someone really wanted to say maybe they're selling 10 homes and they want to go to 20, or they're selling 20 and they want to go to 40? What advice do you have for them if they really want to go to the next level and sell some more homes?
This is awesome. One of my favorite questions. So, first of all, I believe everybody's different. God created us all differently, but everything works. That's the beauty of it. Like Brent, you killed it in open houses. I built my business off of prospecting. You just got to try a few things and then consistently do it long enough to give it a chance. So,
Beautiful.
I broke my way in through prospecting, and hindsight's 2020. I didn't know what I didn't know back then, but the reason I was successful in prospecting was because I sat next to a lady that was a complete beast. They say you surround yourself with you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Well, the lady sat next to me in the cubicle. She was selling 150 homes a year. She was on the phone consistently every morning. So I had two choices. I could sit there and watch her kill it, or I could dial too. And I made a little contest with myself that, I'm going to crush this. I'm going to make my calls every day. I'm going to outpace her because I've got some catching up to do. So I would sit on the phones every day. I would call expires consistently, relentlessly. I would go back years in the expires. If it was 2002, whatever it was, I would just call until I ran out of people, and I would do that over and over again. And I was terrible at first. Terrible.
I love that. I love that little side note. I was terrible at first.
Yeah.
At first is the key thing in what you said, because it doesn't ever stay at first. Pretty soon things change. So what happened when you kept up with being terrible? What happened? What was the result of consistently being terrible?
Yeah, so I was consistently really, really bad. I said the wrong stuff. I didn't know what I was talking about. Anything you can picture to go wrong, that's what I was doing. But I learned what to say, and I learned about actually connecting with people instead of trying to close them in the first 5 seconds. Finding out what they need, why didn't their house sell? How did that affect them? What were their plans? Where they're trying to go? When I started to get people to open up a little bit to me, then they could trust me, to set up the appointment for me to go in there and sell their home. So, consistently doing it every single day, regardless of whether you're good or not, that doesn't matter. You're going to get better. Everybody knows you will, but a lot of people, I think, quit before they get started.
Right. And what I'm getting out of this is, when we're talking to agents about moving from Remax or Century 21 or Lions or Keller Williams or Berkshire Hathaway or whatever, do we take the time to get to know them? Do we find out what their needs are? Do we do the needs analysis, or is it all here's the XP, here's how it works, boom? It's you just threw up on me and you don't even know me. You don't have a right to do that yet. And so, but he didn't, well, how do you do that? You do it wrong. You do it wrong. That's how you do it. And then you learn how to do it right. So how many people would you call a day when you really were calling the expireds? And you would go back, if you've only been in this for 8 years and that was 2012 when you started, and you were calling people in 2002, you were calling people whose homes went on and off the market a decade earlier, 5 years earlier, 7 years earlier, 3 years ago. You were just pounding the phones and calling people. How many people would you call a day? I'm just curious. Would you call 3, 5? How many would you call in the mornings?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I didn't have a number. I know a lot of people base theirs on numbers, but I base mine on time. So I would say I'm going to commit to dialing for 30 minutes. 30 minutes was an easy chunk for me to swallow. I can do this for 30 minutes. Most of the time I would do it for an hour, an hour and a half. But just giving myself permission to quit after 30 minutes was enough for me to say I can get through this and do it every single day. There's no reason you can't call for 30 minutes.
You were calling strangers and trying to get them to talk to you. And sometimes I'm sure they'd hang up the phone. Don't call me. blah, blah, I'm on the don't call list or whatever, you know? And then, but some of them you got through to. And so how many people do you think you'd talk to in that 30 minutes to an hour if you had to guesstimate? 2, 3, 4?
I would hope, and you know, we're going back years, and I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I would say probably no more than 10 or 12. Like,
Okay.
you know, most of them are not going to answer messages or quick hang-ups or something like that. So my honest guess would be 10 or 12.
Okay, so let's say 10. And did you do that 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week? How many days a week?
I did 6 days a week.
Okay, so that's 60 a week, and then times 4. So that's 120, 240 people a month you were calling.
Yep.
Pounding the phone. She had a beast. Did you ever have anybody mistreat you on the phone of those 240 people a month? Yeah, there you go. That says it all. And did you just shake it off and you would just forget them, go on to the next? You're looking for the yes. You're not worried about the no.
I was blessed with rejection does not affect me for some reason. I know it affects a lot of people, but like it does not affect me. I figure that's there on them. Whatever's going on in their life, you know, I don't know what they're going through when they pick up that phone. But I don't take it personally. You know, like how can it? They don't even know me.
Sometimes it pays to be a stone cold killer. Basically, what Steve's talking, he's a serial murderer. He's fine. But, you know, see, you can't take it personal. Okay, so I'm learning a lot here. So that year where you really started hitting the phones, and from doing about 240 people a month, you get so many listings. And then from there, you closed so much. And it sounds like you closed 30 your first year, right?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit higher, but it was around 30. And then the next year would have been, you know, 60 something.
Let's just even go with 60 the next year. And if you kept up 240 a month times 12, let's take off the 40 and just call it 200 times 12. That's 2,400 people a year.
Okay.
Right?
So can I step in right here?
All right.
Okay, so yes, that's what a smart man would have done. Don't claim to be that. So the second year, of course, with that many calls, I started having traction, even as terrible as I was. So the second year, there was nowhere near as many calls. You know, when I get into doing a transaction, I would lose. And I'm not saying to do this. This is the wrong way to do it. But this is how you get that roller coaster effect that everyone seems to suffer from. Is I would get into a transaction, and then my prospecting, I would let off the gas. Big mistake.
And by the way, you guys, I know this is about, right now we're talking about real estate, but it completely crosses over to sponsoring agents and building your sales organization with DXP. This is, I love this conversation. So we're going to keep going down this. So the first year you did about 2,400. The second year you backed off to maybe 1,200.
Sure.
And then, but let's even go there. So you talked to 1,200 people. You did 60 deals year 2. And then what do you anticipate you average per sale? About $8,000 up there in Marysville, Yuba City?
$9,000. And at one time I'd done this, it was about 3.5 hours worth of prospecting would equal that $9,000 for me.
Okay, so somebody in the audience, grab your calculator on your phone, take $9,000 times 60, and type it in the chat box. I'm using my phone, so I can't do it. What's $9,000 times 6? Well, 9 times 6, $560,000. Is that what it is? 540. That's right. It's not 56, it's 54. Oh my gosh. Hey, I can only good at calculating 3% of a number. I can do real estate agents are good at calculating 3% of any number. It's shameful. So Sam Holman is typing. Yep, love you, Sam. So $540,000. Now I suppose you had some overhead. Did you have a little bit of overhead there, Steve?
Yeah, so I ran a bad business and I had a lot of overhead.
So maybe $100,000? $100,000?
I would say it's probably higher than $100,000, but yeah, we bought everything back then. You know, we were reckless with our spending, but we didn't know what we didn't know. You know, so the coach helped us dial that stuff back and cancel it, teach us how to lead gen and everything else. But yeah, we weren't as profitable as we probably should have been.
I love it. Love it. Hey, Glenn Williams, I see you in the left there, man. Good to see you, buddy. So, Steve, so if you had 100,000 to hit you down to 440, which isn't bad. Some people don't know, you know, even if you get another 40 mislead, it's still 400,000 a year. How excited were you about real estate?
Oh, I was a mailman for years ago. Like at this point, I'm absolutely living my best life.
So you went from mailman to superstar real estate sales agent, making $400,000 a year. Is that what you made as a mailman? $400,000 a year?
I slaved for 10 or 12 hours. Nobody, the customers hate you, your supervisors hate you, dogs hate you.
I love it. Oh, are you still there, Steve? I lost Steve. Jay, you're there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jay Kinder, I'm doing a big training. Say hi to everybody.
What's up, everybody?
That's Jay Kinder. How many people in your group now, Jay?
3874, I believe.
Almost 4,000 agents. We'll get Jay on in the future. We're talking to Steve McCarthy right now. He's encouraging those numbers. We're having a blast with Steve McCarthy right now.
Right on, man. That's
And he
right
just gave you credit. He said his first year in real estate, he sold 0 homes. Then he met Albie Stasic, was his coach from Kinder Reese, and he sold 30 homes when he hooked up with Kinder Reese. He just got done telling everyone that. NAEA.
That's
baby.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, man, he's a stud.
All right. Hey, I'll call you when this gets over.
You got it?
Thanks. Bye.
You got it? Yeah.
Okay, I got to call Steve back. He's probably wondering where I went. I thought I could merge Jay onto the call, but I was wrong. Hey, buddy.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's not you. It was me. Jay Kinder called, and I thought I could merge him on the call with you and get both of you. So I told Jay I couldn't talk to him. I was talking to someone who was far more important. So anyway.
I love Jay. I love him.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, he's awesome. I just told him that you gave him props for connecting you to Albie Stasic at Kinder Reese and going from 0 sales to 30. So, but anyway, okay, so back to this. So you're making $400,000 a year, and they didn't quite pay you that as a mailman delivering the mail, right?
Right. No, I was lucky to make $65,000 a year, and I was outpacing most of my high school friends. Like that, that was to me.
$65,000 was bank. With benefits. That's awesome.
I thought it was great. Yeah, and I never questioned it. It wasn't until someone gave me a Rich Dad, Poor Dad book that I ever questioned that I could even make more money without being a doctor.
I love it. Love it. So now you feel like the glass ceiling's pulled off your head. If you want to make more, you could do more, have more, be more, serve more clients, love more people, be your best version of yourself. You're on a roll. You're kicking butt. But now, what you don't realize, like the rest of us, is you buy a little nicer house, you take some nicer vacations, you probably got a different car, a little nicer car, maybe 2 little nicer cars, and you get the pool, and all of a sudden, you need to make $400,000. And what you built for yourself is your mousetrap before was a $65,000 mousetrap, and now it's or somebody like, I don't mind being stuck at a $400,000 mousetrap. I get it, but you have to recreate that year after year after year. So you see EXP a couple years ago, and what goes through your mind?
Oh my goodness! So my friend closed down his brokerage in Cleveland, Ohio, and that didn't compute in my head. I'm like, why would you be making $2-3 million a year? Close your brokerage, and I'm thinking about breaking out on my own and opening my own. So I called him, and I'm like, what did you just do? And he explained EXP to me while I sat on the side of the road for an hour and a half taking it on. And my first thought was, there's no way this could work for me. This is too good to be true. This is dangerous.
And it'll work for him because he's a big star and he had this big office. So we start selling ourselves. Our psychology is like, we start telling ourselves why it won't work for us. Maybe Brent Gove, maybe Steve McCarthy, maybe, but the truth is, my first year I sold like 12 homes. Your first year you sold none. I'm sure Al Stasic's, and then we figured it out. And same thing, you guys will figure out the agent sponsoring portion of this when you get angry enough. Not at me, not at Steve McCarthy or Jay Kinder or anybody else, at yourself. When you look in the mirror and say, you're the solution, baby. Look at you. You're beautiful. You're amazing. And then you look in the mirror and you go, you're also the reason you are where you are. It's not Glenn Sanford's fault. It's not EXP's fault. It's not onboarding the EXP. We all deal with that stuff and we get through it. You are the 80% of the chokehold in your business is your personal psychology. You keep saying why you can't, why you shouldn't, you don't have time, blah, 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 blah. And then Steve here is like, well, I got 30 minutes a day to maybe an hour. I could sit down and tolerate that. And he made himself call 2,400 people to, after it was all done and said, make $400,000. And then if you didn't repeat wash, rinse, and repeat the following year, Steve. How much would you earn if you didn't go service all those clients and go do what it took to recreate it? Not much, right?
Yeah, no, the business sinks. You gotta stay on it. You got foot on the gas forever, redoing it, and those houses don't go off and tell other houses about you.
That's right. And then if you don't keep your foot on the gas pedal, you described it earlier, you get the roller coaster effect in your income. Same as sponsoring. You got to be consistent. Consistence wins the day every day. It's the compounding effect. And the one thing I want to encourage everybody is you only have to sponsor these 25 to 40 agents one time. Once the horses are in the gates, you'll just watch it grow. And so, Steve, you got an EXP. And you finally decided yes, for whatever reason. What was at first you're going, no, this is dangerous. What was the kind of the flip, the switch that flipped? What was it? And then what happened? How did you start talking to people? You've sponsored a bunch of people. You got a nice big group now. What happened? What caused the switch?
Well, I didn't stay in that.
Or
it can't work very long.
Right.
So then I had to ask the question, what if it could work? And what do I have to lose if I step out and go to EXP? So, and once you start thinking, then you start putting together, what's all the different ways I could make it work? So, and then just like prospecting, I did agent attraction every way that's wrong.
Love it. We all do it. If you fly fish, you're going to hook the person you're fly fishing with, then you're going to hook the pine tree behind you, and then you're going to tangle it, and then you're going to slash the river with your line. It's going to go like a big whoosh. And then if anyone's fly fishing, all of a sudden you get better, and the pops at the end, and the fly floats to the Madison River and Yellowstone, and bam, comes the big German brown. You're a big stud, but nobody starts that way. And so I love your message. The message I'm getting from you is, just go do it and get better. If you do a little bit at a time, you never get good, and it's slow and painful. And slow and painful, now this is a scientific word, and you may have to look this up in a thesaurus, but a slow and painful sucks. It's terrible, right, Steve? I mean, who wants that?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do when you started calling people? What did you say? How did you reach out to them? What was your approach so everyone could learn from you?
Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, or your mistakes. Yes.
What works now?
Well, either you could tell us what you did wrong, so they don't do it. They can learn from that, and then what you finally started to learn that did work. I think that's great. Tell us what you did wrong.
And I think that's going to be the most helpful thing that I can say right now is what I did wrong. What I did wrong was take a look at what I loved about EXP and try to spew that onto other agents. So I wasn't prepared for other brokers, coaching their agents what to say and coaching them what EXP is, and of course they put a whole different spin on EXP when they talk about it. So I'm calling people and I'm randomly spewing revenue share to them. Revenue share doesn't mean anything to those agents. They care about where's my next commission check coming from.
Right.
So to transition from that to what's working now is I've taken a different approach is how can I add value to agents that I know? How can I help them? How can I coach them better than they're being coached at their current brokerage, which isn't very hard, by the way. How can I add value to their lives? How can I check in with them? So what we're doing differently now that's really effective is like some of these agents that have come over to me, I've been working with them, sometimes at 10 o'clock at night on their real estate sales, for a year, 2 years. And then finally it just clicks that, all my help's coming from outside of my brokerage where I'm spending too much money. Why not go over there and take a shot with EXP? And then they come.
I love it, man. I love it. So you adopted, I'll stop typing. I typed in the tar for you guys. Please, everybody, be a part of this. Make comments if he says something you like or ask a question. That's what I was typing. It was coming through my screen. So, Steve, you've adopted the recruiting or agent attraction technique of COVID-19 all over my office now. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You have adopted the technique of becoming more valuable than their sales manager or franchise owner or their broker. Like you are helping them, and you're the kind of guy who does it because that's just who you are. and you'll help them even if they stay. But the cool thing is after a while, honestly, they'll move. They're like, you have helped me so much. I think I'm going to go to EXP just because of you, right? And then they start opening their mind to the opportunity. Is that right?
Yeah, I think if you're helping them, like just being a good human and helping them with their business and helping them feed their family, they start looking for excuses to make EXP work, regardless if it was better or not. I think this would work just as well if I was, at KW and I was trying to get somebody from Remax. Like, just genuinely helping people do better for themselves, and then eventually they're going to help come over. I don't have to spew EXP to them. Like, they're going to genuinely be curious about it.
Yeah. Sometimes I tell people, I go, be honest with you, I want to become your plan B. Like, if your broker upsets you, like, where would I go? So you kind of, sometimes you put up with some abuse because, like, I don't really want to go to Keller Williams, or I don't really want to go to Remax, or I don't really want to go to XY. I don't know where I go. So you kind of put up with maybe something you don't quite love, but you really don't. I go, I want to be plan B. I want you to go, man, if things don't go right at my office or I feel mistreated anyway, I would be more than excited to go to EXP. And that'll actually help you negotiate better with your broker. I know for years I paid Remax over $400,000 a year. So I really didn't think there was anything better. So I'm just going to continue to pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of Remax every year until I figure out there was. So tell people you want to be plan B, or some people, just to put them at ease, I go, look, you are not allowed to join EXP. I laugh. I go, of course you are, but I'm kidding. But, seriously, just let it go. Stay at Coldwell Banker. Stay at Century 21. Let me help you. And someday, if you ever want to come, no, come on, you want me? Of course, if you ever want to come someday, of course, we'd love to have you. But let me just help you. You can stay at Prudential. Prudential sold, but Century 21 at Berkshire Hathaway. Just let me help you. And and sometimes people accept that help. So that's kind of the route you've chosen, huh, Steve?
Yeah, and I've stolen that. I shamelessly stole that exact line from you, and I use it all the time. When they say, "Oh, I'm happy where I'm at." Good. You're not allowed to come over. It's not about that. Let's sit down and talk about how I can help you in your business.
Good. I'm getting some questions in the chat bar. Michael Dugal wants to know, how many agents did you typically call in a week or a day? Like for me, my story, I did it Saturdays 2 to 5. I would call 3 to 5 agents, 3 to 5. Boom. And then of course I bounce into people through the week and do it unintentionally, but it was purposeful and intentional. Fridays 2 to 5. How about you, Steve? Did you? What was your thing?
This is not going to help these people in the audience if they do what I do. So for the first year, I called like 10 people. Like that's it. I wasn't successful, and I was just kind of like, okay.
So it was like year one in real estate. Year one in real estate.
Yep.
You didn't really do what it took, and so you sold 0 homes. Year one at EXP, you called like 10 people. So, but the cool thing is, I bet you some of those people signed up, and I bet you it started to work in spite of so little. So, what made the transition year 2? Like I'm sure you have year 2. Did you do things differently at EXP?
I did, yeah. So we were more intentional about connecting with agents in year 2, and then even more so, this year, which will be almost our 3rd year. So then we started paying attention to like who can we help and how can we help them, and that was the big difference. So I know you are super successful, and you have 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 agents. So I want them to use your method, but like we have just been trying to add value to agents. And then that's come into agents being attracted to EXP and coming over.
That is awesome. And so, so you've really been intentional about building relationships. So how did you do that? You made the comment, we got intentional year 2 and 3 about building relationships with agents in your farm community there. In your whole area, there's maybe, 300, 400, 500 agents or something?
There's probably 1,000 now. Everybody's an agent right now, but
right. But it can grow out of your area. It leaves that area and goes to Chico or Sacramento. Or do you have agents in other cities now?
We have agents in Reno and Arbuckle and Colusa and Marysville, Yuba City, Sacramento, Elk Grove. Like it's just
it grows. So yeah. For people who are going, well, I live in a small rural mountain community. Well, no one's stopping you from calling Phoenix. You can
No.
call someone in your small rural community. You can call someone in San Diego. You can call someone in New York. And so it really gets down to guts and courage. And that woman who sat next to you when you were a brand new agent doing 150 sales a year, you called her a beast. You know, I have a magic wand. I'm knighting you. I'm the king of England. I'm knighting you on the shoulders. And I'm now releasing you to be beasts. I now make you all beasts. But you got to say, look in the mirror and go, I'm a beast. And what does that mean? It means that you are going to do what it takes. And it's the same in real estate. Until you did that in real estate, you did not succeed in real estate. When you became a beast and you started calling, I believe the number you said was, it was 240 people a month. It was 10 people a day, 6 days a week. That was beast mode. And that gave you 60 a week, 120 every 2 weeks, 240 a month. Nobody does that. And guess what? How many agents in Yuba City, Marysville were selling 60 homes a year? A handful, right?
Yeah, no, none. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Did anybody say you couldn't make those 10 calls a day?
Just the only person that ever tried to stop me from making calls would be me.
Yep. There you go. And then who gave you permission to call 10 a day?
Well, that would be me too, sir.
Yep. We're our greatest asset and our biggest liability, all wrapped into one. So I don't know what kind of music you got to listen to or watch Rocky or Cinderella Man or some inspiring movie, In Pursuit of Happiness, that guy, all the struggles. We want to make a movie about your life. And that's a beautiful thing. From the ashes, coming from nowhere and going somewhere. I remember, Steve, listening to Zig Ziglar cassette tapes, washing dishes, earning a minimum wage in college, and listening to Zig Ziglar. And the other dishwashers made fun of me because I had the Sony Walkman on. I was listening to Zig Ziglar talking to me about being successful. And, you're going to make all this money. You're going to be all successful. I'm like, dude, calm down. I'm just learning about goal setting and business planning and having a good attitude. And they freaking mocked me and made fun of me up at Chico State. I didn't like it at 19. You think at 19 years old, I liked being made fun of? I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable, but I kept listening to Zig Ziglar. I kept listening to Dennis Waitley and guys like Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and on and on and on. And then, of course, it had a huge impact. So, man, Steve, that is awesome. What advice do you have for people as we wrap this up today? If they really want to go make it at EXP, what's the main message? If they're going to break through like you and Kelly have, your beautiful wife, Kelly, what is it they got to do? Like what nugget can you leave them with today?
You got to take a chance on yourself. No one else is going to take that chance for you. You got to decide that you want more out of your life. Figure out why you want that, like really deeply, why do you want it? And then do a little bit. Don't try to do everything all at once, but just make little micro commitments to up in the ante a little bit and doing a little more each day until you accidentally get there. And when you get there, don't do like me and let off the gas. Keep the gas on until you get all the way to the big goals.
That is awesome. That's really good. So how excited are you about EXP, Steve?
This is a life-changing opportunity, and it's our obligation to go out and save other agents from the old model. There's never been anything like this that's actually building wealth. I stock. I didn't care about stock. I don't know nothing about stock. All of a sudden, I have $400,000 in stock. Like that happened on its own.
Right. That's beautiful. Now, what brokerage you were independent and brought your independent brokerage onto the EXP platform, right?
No. We went from Coldwell Banker, the internet said had the best training in the world, and then we went to Intero, and then we went to a boutique, and it was at that moment that we were going to open our home brokerage when I found out that, our buddy in Cleveland had shut his down, and that's where we found EXP. So we never made it out on our own. So
had you stayed at Intero or Coldwell Banker or that boutique, would you have $400,000 worth of equity today?
No, and I wouldn't know that that's possible. That's my fear for everybody else that's still there.
Right.
I feel obligated to go out and share that message that, agents are becoming wealthy for doing what they've always done.
I'm going to take a chance and ask you a final question as we wrap this up. Are you going to Cabo in February?
Yeah, Kelly's already working on booking it. We ran into a problem with booking because of our kids again, but she's trying to book 2 rooms for us right now, and we'll probably get some extra ones if there's any available.
Sweet, love it. Kids.
Wouldn't miss it.
Kids are invited. Last place we went was, I think, adults only type of place. We're at the Hyatt Ziva. So everyone saw me walk across the stage, Steve. It's the Hyatt Ziva in Los Cabos. Our website will be out by tomorrow evening. Do not call the Hyatt direct. If you do, you'll find the price is $389 a night, plus taxes and resort fees. Ours is $325 a night, including taxes and resort fees. Super all-inclusive. Someone was told it was not. It includes all of your meals, all of your beverages, little pina coladas to a glass of wine or a cold beer on the beach, everything you want, lemonade, iced tea, coffee, all your meals, 5 restaurants. Everybody in this room should sign up tomorrow. It's $397 per person to go to this 5-day event. And it's the collaboration, the who's who have come. I knew you were coming. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of superstars at EXP there, and it's going to sell out in about 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. I'll be shocked if it's not sold out within 48 hours. So when this website goes up tomorrow, get your registration ticket. It's $397 a person. If you have a ticket from Tony Robbins in Dallas last month at the Gaylord, which got shut, our 4,000 person event got shut down because of COVID-19 and postponed a year. If you kept your ticket and did not ask for a refund, as a thank you, we cut the price of this event in half. So you'll be able to register for $197 for you and $197 for your spouse. Guests are $397, agents are $397. We lose money at $197. We have to rent the ballroom. We have overhead and costs and all that media and all these things to pay there. It's going to be amazing. So register for the event. If you have your golden ticket from last month and you kept it, then it's $197. If you didn't, it is $397. It's a great price for a 5-day event. It's our Mastermind in the Tropics. I'm telling you, fair warning, it will sell out within probably 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. And we would have we're going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. It's just going to sell out. And part of it is they're still not letting us meet in full, even in Mexico. If they open it up more, we'll open up another 300-400 tickets down the road, but we're going to shut it down probably within 48 hours. So fair warning, and the website is not open yet. It will be open by probably 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're not sure. We're working hard. We're pushing hard. Hopefully it's going to be open tomorrow evening. It may not open till Wednesday morning. So Steve, thank you for being on. Hey, everybody, real quick, Steve, before I let you go. If you go to my left, I'm walking my avatar across stage. You'll see the modelexplain.com with Brent Gove. We have a countdown clock, all kinds of cool stuff. And basically, that happens Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 12:30 to 1:30 Pacific. It says Vacaville, Davie City, Roosevelt. I used to go there in person. Now it's all virtual. So people could attend from all over the U.S. and Canada. Heck, they could jump on from South Africa, Mexico, Portugal, France, India, Brazil, UK, Australia, US, Canada, wherever. They can jump on and watch. There's a countdown clock that starts at about 12:25, about 5 minutes early. And it's a really cool video. And then I come on, I do my thing for about, 30, 40 minutes there, Rob? And then there's a wrap-up video. It's a really well-produced event. Get your guests there. Get people to see it again. The more they see it, the more they get EXP Insomnia. And Steve McCarthy, thank you for being my guest today. I respect and love you and Kelly. Have an awesome day, Steve.
We love you too. Thank you for having us on. And if anybody needs anything from me, just reach out. Happy to help.